Would you like to support Cubs Out Loud? One way is to join us over on Patreon. For as little as $1 a month, patrons get early access to our shows, the pre- and post-show, and various other rewards. You can learn more at patreon.com/CubsOutLoud. Thanks to all our patrons for their support in making this podcast. It's Sunday, March 30th, 2025. I'm Jeff.
By my own order. I will slay Xochitl.
I'm Damon.
I don't brew the tea, I just serve it.
And that makes me Gary.
Everyone else is thinking it, and I just say it.
Welcome to Cubs Out Loud, the very podcast with indeterminate length, episode number 780, where I totally confused my co-host by switching up my sounder right before the show.
Yay. My favorite part of that was neither of us knew if you changed all of them without saying anything or just yours. And I was like,
No, I didn't have the
Hey.
time to do all of them. I don't know what the B-Tech guys would have gotten anyways, but
I'm like, I mean, I guess I could be assigned some random World of Warcraft, or Final Fantasy sound clip, but I don't know if it would make any sense to me.
that sound clip was from neither.
Yeah. Still doesn't make any sense to me.
Anyway,
Here we are.
here we are.
Here we go. I've been doing a lot of hunting lately. A little monster hunting.
I'm assuming this is a game of some kind.
It's a game series that's been around for a really, really long time, and their latest one, Monster Hunter Wilds, just launched last month. And of course, a couple of the streamers I watch, they started playing Monster Hunter World before Wilds, and to kind of get into the swing of, hey, what's Monster Hunter about? Them watching them do it, I decided to do it, and then spent way too much money because I went with their Platinum Premium Super bullshit package, which includes the World and World and Iceborne, the expansion. And then, of course, I'm like, you know what would be nice, since I'm using a controller? It would be nice if I could do this on my couch. I got a Switch. Is it on the Switch? No. Oh, wait, Rise is. So I will do Rise, which was after World. And then eventually I was like, I wonder if I can run Wilds on this computer. So I downloaded the benchmark from Steam, and it came up as playable. And so I'm like, ooh, cool. Well, let me play through these other ones and then I'll buy it, just keep everything spread out. And then I broke down and bought the base version, the cheapest version of Monster Hunter Wilds. And then I played it and I got through the initial main story, the Lone Rank story, before as of yesterday, when I literally woke up, did some business in Final Fantasy, and then immediately went over to Wild. So it was like 8-9 o'clock in the morning, and then played it until like a little bit after midnight. Finished it, did a little of the post credits, game and then decided, no, I really need to go to bed. So I went to
Probably a good
bed,
idea.
woke up this morning, did Fantasy 14 things, and then decided, I've done low rank on both World and Wilds. I should probably do that on Rise. So that's why I've been working on Rise just today.
Mm.
That clip that you heard was a clip from that the voice was my voice for my character, because you can actually adjust the pitch and yaw of the character. And honestly, I think I got one sexy ass character. He's hot.
Neat.
And he looks like a badass in that scene.
Nice.
What? People creating characters that are meant to be like epitomes of what they find sexy? Groundbreaking.
I'm just saying, I think I did a good job.
Ooh. Look at you.
No, it's not that. It just amuses me how it's not a realm that I'm very much in, but I'm, I guess, adjacent or on the periphery of it enough to know that people intentionally craft their characters to be hot or sexy or whatever. And it just amuses me because I'm like, okay.
I'll say
And in
this.
my
I
brain,
don't
I'm
think I
just
could do the same character. The character creator in Wilds is amazing. And it's awesome. The only thing I really wish is I wish that the body could be a little bit thicker.
Mm. We all want
They,
them to be a
they
bit
do
thick.
have
Shit. Fuck.
girl, you.
I want to have
That's
one
good.
of
Right on
those
out,
like
girl.
athletic but chubby dudes.
Yes.
I mean, I'm not complaining or passing judgment. I just find it ironic or kind of funny in a way that guys are like, you know, I'm gonna make a himbo orc, or I'm gonna make this, big Bruin, whatever, like. There's a part of me that's like, I understand the fantasy, but again, that is not going to come to life and like
Mm.
pound your soul through your mattress. So let's, have some perspective.
God damn.
Yeah, what? I'm just saying.
I was gonna put thick with like, but I'm like,
I
should
don't.
probably put thick.
I don't have
with
have a fact fan. Otherwise, I'd be.
Oh wait. Hold on. Wait, and there we go.
Thank you.
There we are.
I keep telling people.
Thanks,
I,
Wolfie.
I keep telling people that if I was part of a comedy duo, I'd be playing the straight man, which is very strange.
Because you're not straight at all.
Exactly.
Thank you, Damon. There we go. Yeah. Yes. So
But in
Wolfie said in the
comedic
live chat,
terms,
love
I
you
would be
guys.
the
Keep
straight
it up.
man. Like
Yeah.
I'm the Abbott
Great.
to their Costello.
Right.
Which is such a modern reference.
I don't know. Do we have a modern
I
reference?
mean, you could have said Lauren Hardy.
That's
Again,
Again,
same
another
about
modern
time.
reference.
Wait.
Burns of Gracie.
The only one that comes to mind, and it's the person I can't remember the other woman's name because there's Tina Fey and but that's not really, well, that's sort of modernish, but like
Tina Fey and Amy Poehler.
there you go. I don't know if that's accurate enough or either, but that's where my brain
Comparatively
goes.
speaking, yeah. Key and Peele.
Kind of, yeah. They tend to go back and forth though.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I think that's fair. I mean, they didn't stay together as a duo for their whole career, per se, but
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
this is the thing. There are no real comedic duos.
Hmm.
Oh, wait a minute. Didn't Chris Farley essentially be part of a duo? I can't remember who his
Like
straight man
Chris
was.
Farley and David Spade.
That's it. Is it no?
Yeah.
David Spade was it?
Yeah, David Spade.
Okay. Maybe I'm thinking of somebody with a similar name. Is why
Yeah.
I'm saying I don't think that's right.
Right. No, I'm gonna stick with it. I think I'm correct.
Now we're doing a little Google search of comedy
Yes.
duos.
Yeah, I'm not really sure there is anybody right now.
Yeah, I'm reading this article.
Key and
There's a
PL
couple
is one of
listed
the
in the.
first one.
Oh,
Whoever did Broad
well,
City.
yeah. Double act comedy duo. I'm looking on Wikipedia. The one that's listed at the end of the present day, it mentions the Rhett and Link of.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
I'm more the Rhett than
Yeah.
Link.
That's I'm just saying that is the Wikipedia's response
No,
to
no,
the
no,
modern
no, no.
day.
They're a comedy duo. Rhett and Link are definitely a
Yeah.
comedy duo,
Um,
and I'm definitely more
yes.
Rhett than I am Link.
I guess my thought on it is that, like, because they're known for YouTube specifically as content creators in that platform, I wasn't thinking them of as comedians.
Yeah. It says, like, the last sentence of this article where it's talking about double acts is what they're talking about. Many modern day YouTube channels follow this format. Some examples include Smosh, Dan and Phil, the Game Grumps, and Rhett and Link of the YouTube channel Good Mythical Morning.
Yeah, mm-hmm. They're definitely comedy duos.
Makes sense. Yeah. I don't know if it's like, like Straight Man and Pratfall, but like that's the idea in a way.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
Well, I mean, the entire thing of Who's on First was all done as just two people standing next to each other talking. One of the
Right.
greatest double act comedy bits of all time.
Mm.
Yeah.
Anyways, so the monster hunting. Damon?
So, a lot of work always. That's always been the case here. But I did take a little bit of time off this month. We talked about it last week because I was coming off of the weekend. Not last month, last week. Wow. So the CMC, Cincinnati Men's Chorus that I sing in, Dayton Gay Men's Chorus, Columbus Gay Men's Chorus, and the North Coast Gay Men's Chorus or North Coast Men's Chorus. Let me confirm that. It's just Gay Men's North Coast. It's just North Coast Men's Chorus. Yeah, North Coast Men's Chorus. All traveled to Columbus for a gala, which is the Gay and Lesbian Association of Choruses of Ohio event, where we all performed some individual sets, and then we came together in the end and did a couple of songs together. It was absolutely amazing, and to Gary's just like pointing it out, it was hosted by none other than Nina West, well-known drag queen in the Columbus area, from the Columbus area, has been on RuPaul's Drag Race, has toured with Hairspray, so many other things in life. And it was honestly a wonderful life-changing experience. 300 plus people, well, I guess technically LGBT, potentially, and more allies, choruses, singing music to support, nourish, and protest in a way. The current regime of the world and what's going on. The theater that we are performing in is literally across the street from the state capitol.
Mm.
So just, and we sold out. We performed to a sold out crowd. It was a one night only event, but still sold out. It was just amazing, and being on that stage. The finale, nope, not the finale, the encore of the concert. We did Defying Gravity, but the finale of the concert was a song called Sheridan Square, which was written by Alan Menken. Oh, the name just left my head. God bless it. My brain is not having it today. Is this a song? Anyway, I'd have to look up Nina West again to find the number. But the idea behind it is that it is a I would call it like a torch song to AIDS and AIDS survivors and the families that are leaving behind. And Nina did the solo for it, and she asked for it to be done, considering what we were doing. So I am. It was an honor moment. There again, I was on stage with all of the other choruses. The Columbus Gay Men's Chorus went into the audience and circled the audience, and then the rest of us were on the main stage. And just doing that number and then doing the encore of Defying Gravity was amazing. There we go. Howard Ashman. That's the word I was looking for. Howard Ashman and Alan Menken. And it's a beautiful song. Yeah. So that was my week. That was a weekend. Jim and I went up Friday evening after he got off work. We stayed in a hotel not too far away from everything, but it gave us a little bit of a distance. My Saturday was spent pretty much there from like 2 in the afternoon until the show wrapped, and we were heading home at like 10ish at night, or heading back to the hotel. So we had dinner together. Nina was there. Nina was there a few times. If it wasn't such a weird, overwhelming, like everyone was kind of asking for pictures and stuff, I just didn't feel comfortable asking for a picture, but I would have loved to have gotten one. But she's like, I call like this, she was a talent. Like, so like, I'm like, let's not overwhelm the talent. But she did like several costume changes. It was a lot of fun. It was just a great time. And the concert was amazing. The music was amazing. The Cincinnati Men's Chorus, we opened the show and we got a lot of comments and support because our set was very much the political protest in a way. We did a song called Color Out of Colorado, which is basically try as you might, you can't take the gay out of the USA. And you need us to make the USA. So that part. Yeah. Good show. So happy I got to do it. There are already discussions being had about doing it another time, not right next year, but maybe in a few years. Maybe after Gala, which is in 2028, as something to do every couple of years. So that part. Yeah.
So
Jerry, go ahead.
there's hope to do it again from the sounds
Yes.
of it.
Yeah.
Cool. Nice. Um, this month flew by, in an interesting and weird way. So, yeah. I just feel like it felt very nonstop. There was a lot of work. I also had a family thing that happened this past week, which kind of leads into me feeling like this is going to be a year of change. So my father's mother, my grandmother, passed away on Sunday. She was 92. She had not been doing well for a small amount of time in terms of her health. So there's a thing about my dad's family. My great grandfather had been diagnosed in his older years in retirement with Parkinson's. And then my father was diagnosed a number of years ago. And he was diagnosed earlier than my great grandfather was. And then my grandmother, the in between generation, she got diagnosed about 4 years ago.
Mm.
So hers was much later in terms of like making itself known and getting diagnosed. But also there's a possibility that it may affect gender differently. So anyways, we've kind of felt in the family that there may be a genetic aspect to it. That being said, my grandfather's still alive. He's 93. So the family's kind of known that there will be a point, a time when things may change. And so he still lives at home, independent, still drives. Yeah. So there's that. There's a bunch of things. So this past week was kind of a whirlwind. I worked, but the family understandably had this thing going on Friday. We had viewings. Yesterday we had the funeral service and the wake, which was nice. So yeah. So there's some concern and about what's going to happen with my grandfather, how he's going to cope, or what will he be like in the time to come. Now she hasn't been living with him for a couple of years because some of my dad's siblings were taking care of her in the past few years because she couldn't stay at home anymore alone or with him. So there's a factor of that. And my father's health has not been the best. So we're going to do a planned care meeting in the next week or so and talk about options and some considerations and things. So yeah, there's a reality that within this year there could be a lot of change.
Yeah.
On that front. So and it just brought a lot into focus this past week, especially the past like 2 days, because my grandmother was religious, brought up in faith. The family was kind of raised in faith, but not really. I wasn't necessarily. So I think we have people of faith, we have agnostics, and we have atheists in our family. So it makes a very interesting kind of blend. Perhaps very 2025, I don't know. And I'm the oldest of the grandkids, and so like I got to see most of my cousins, but we're all getting older. And so we're at that age now where the grandchildren have kids who could be having kids or soon will be having kids. You know what I mean? And so there's a whole legacy of that stuff. So there's also a part of sort of feeling my age a little bit in this time, because for the longest time I was just single, and the closer you get to retirement age, you realize I haven't necessarily had some of these milestone things. And that's one of the key aspects. I kind of made jokes a little bit with the family yesterday, because we were spouses, by the time we were finishing the wake, most everybody had left. And so there's really just kind of the kids that are there and some of the grandkids. And we're just, this is what this family does. We just hang and we BS. If there are any classic things that we are known for, we talk a lot and we eat. Like, so in classic fashion, we had too much food for the wake that was pulled together kind of in the last couple of days.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So we kind of talked about
Yeah.
that and just some different things, and you know, but they were, kind of commiserating about some different stuff about spouses and stuff, and I was kind of laughing, and I was like, "You all are just reinforcing why I haven't done that." Like, this whole
Why am I
compro-
single? Yes.
right. Like this whole compromise, having someone else in my hope. Like I made this joke yesterday. I said, "Do you know what I love about my life? I go to the fridge. I know exactly what's in there because it's all there the way I left it." Because that's my house. That's my life. Like if I see anything moved, suddenly the song "There's a Stranger in the House" starts playing in the back of my head because I'm like, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
Now I don't have everything memorized, but you just kind of
Right.
know. Like
Yeah.
you develop a life that you know exactly how everything is. And I said, I made this joke to them. I said, I have friends, once in a while that come over and stay with me, and sometimes they'll go into the kitchen and, get something, or they'll go fix something. I said, and I try really hard to not like get bent out of shape, but I can feel the anxiety rising because I'm kind of like, what are they doing? What are they doing? Like, and that's just a personal thing for me. I mean, I already know this about me, but part of it also is that I'm like, because I have been single the majority of my life and lived predominantly by myself most of my adult life. Well, hold on. I have to really rethink that. I mean, okay, so 2 out of the 5 years in college, I had roommates, and then I was on my own.
Uh-huh.
And then I was kind of at home, and then I went around. Yeah, no, that's pretty fair now, because I'm coming up on probably almost 2 decades of living with either just one person or myself. I know those are the same things when we're talking about being single, but I've very much manufactured my life to where it is now. So
Right.
So yeah, there's some big potential with change on a different front. On the theme of change, my work as each week goes by becomes more and more a question mark. Because of what's happening with funding at the federal level for public health.
Right.
And like mine is a grant. And so I am not required or directly a part of like our local government. Technically, I mean, that is my employer, but so that's another aspect of things I've been thinking about a bunch, if that was to change. And I'm not concerned about my job going away, technically. Even if the federal portion of our funding does disappear, it's a possibility that things can stay on. But there's just a lot to consider and think about.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. Like your I don't want to say your job's like in jeopardy, but since there's a federal aspect to it, there's a potential of fluctuation, change, as it were.
Yeah. Well, and also there's the difficulty of people understanding the job that we do. So like I saw some members of the family I haven't seen in a while, and they were like, "Oh," they're like, "What are you doing these days?" I was like, "Oh, I've been working for the county health department for a while." And they're like, "Really?" And I was like, "Yeah," and I work at disease prevention. And they're like, "Oh, okay." But it's one of those things that I realized that like if people don't think about it or consider it important, like it could go away.
Right.
And the sad part of that, I guess, for me is that, there will be an effect to that. And then I guess after that happens, people will understand. Do you know what I mean? Like it's this weird kind of yo-yo effect. Like I described this like when COVID came along, like, oh, all of a sudden we had all the money in the world to just like start throwing at it because we hadn't prepared adequately.
Right.
So we were reactive instead of proactive. And now one of the big things that they just changed in the federal government was that they clawed back like a significant amount, if not like nearly all the funding that was distributed specifically during COVID that was meant to be part of COVID packaging. There was some of it that was not specified specifically for COVID. And so public health was taking advantage of that. And people might have opinions about that, but public health has been underfunded for decades. like
Mhm.
30, 40 years or more. Like it's never been properly funded and staffed. So there was a lot of entities that were taking advantage of that and building up their rank and file and their staffing and their programs and trying to improve for their local communities various aspects of things, from health preparedness to disease prevention and intervention and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's been interesting. So what I've come to conclude as we're wrapping up the first quarter of the year is, like, while we've been on a theme for a handful of years now about how things just aren't the same because of the global pandemic, there's a part of me that's like, I couldn't even begin to guess what December 31st will look like.
Right.
So we'll see. Stay tuned, I guess. What those aspects will be. And I'm not overly concerned about it. I'm just kind of like, okay, well, we'll take it as it is. And one of the things I feel good about is that I work in a supportive environment that people like me, and appreciate the skills that I bring. So I'm not thinking that there's going to be a big issue if something were to change. Like, I just have to be flexible enough to, go with whatever that change is going to be.
Right.
So if it's a new role, it's a different circumstance, we'll see where that lands.
Hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep.
It's a lot. It's a lot. This uns I keep hearing the word uncertainty a lot.
hmm
It's true where we are. There's so much going on that uncertainty, I think, is on the forefront in a lot of our everything from our personal lives to our professional lives. And it's hard. Like, like you try not to, or I'll put it like this: I try not to focus too heavily on it, because if I start focusing too heavily on it, I'm going to go to the worst case scenario, and I don't want to go there.
Right.
But I do have to keep it in mind a little bit.
Right. No, I get it. I get it. For sure.
Yeah. Anyway.
That so, Gary, what's been going on over in Patreon?
Oh wow, that's right.
So first up, we would like to wish a happy 7-year anniversary to Cubster patron Charles W. and Uber patron Michael Q. Yay! Supporting us all this time. Yeah.
Thank you for
So,
your
yeah.
support.
We would also like to give some big bear cub hugs to our patrons at the Cubster level: Charles W., Michael K. At the Uber level, David T., Lee, and Michael Q. And our buddies, Cy, Lloyd G., Michael V., and Owen.
Yay.
Thank you, guys.
Yes. Appreciated.
And Gary, we were able to do 4 shows this month.
Yes, within the month. Well, you confused me because I was like looking at the doc and I'm like, I see 3. So
There was one today, so
yes, we had episode 777. That was the what's going on for the month of February. And then 778 was the Let's Talk About series post-pandemic gay culture. That was actually after we took a week off between us. And then last week, we had another episode in the Let's Talk About Sex series, Lessons from Making Porn. And the illustrious, experienced and knowledge and opinionated Daddy Hadrian joined us, which was very nice to have him come back on the show and talk from his perspective about things, because his career has spanned from, as we discussed in the show, like the era of DVDs crossover to VCR to DVD, and then digital, now streaming platforms, all that jazz.
Mhm.
So yeah, it was a good show. It was one that I've had on the books for quite some time that I've wanted to do. So I was glad Hadrian was available to make that happen for us.
Yay, Daddy was back.
Yes. Hey, Daddy.
And speaking of porn,
Nothing but blue skies from now on.
I laugh because I love how it messes up David every single
Every
episode
week.
when we do this.
I
Every
just
time he's like,
see him cringe and or just face
It
palm.
is just the oddest transition to go from like, we're going to talk about sex and oh.
Well, we're going to continue because we're speaking of daddies, Singlet Sunday with another
hey.
Daddy Venice Cub,
hey.
and he's in a
Yes.
camo singlet.
oh, I think I just saw this.
Yeah,
earlier
enjoying my first Singlet Sunday. Not sold on the camo, but damn, Dad is a wide load. Still fucking gorgeous.
Oh, please.
Continue.
I have sirens going off.
Do you need to check and make sure that things are okay?
Oh yeah.
Maybe.
For those that didn't know, I don't know that made pre-show. David and Jeff are in an area that's under a tornado watch. So
And now we have a super thunderstorm warning. So,
yeah.
And now I have sirens going off. So, one moment, please. I love how we were literally talking about porn.
So far as my weather report still says tornado watch, so here we are. But in the meantime, do we want to skip over Damon while he's checking on the actual situation?
We can, and then we'll come back to him.
Oof.
Yes.
Anyways,
So, my first one is called "I Guess It's Saturday Night," because that's the caption, and this is from Emperor's New Nudes, NOODS.
So, yes, I have sirens. So, I am going to step away. You all can finish the show, but Jim and I are going to go. So,
take shelter.
Okay.
I don't have far to go.
So
We'll wrap up here pretty soon, I think.
We can wrap it up soon.
Yeah. All right. See you guys.
Stay safe. Anyways, this particular picture just cracks me up because it's a after the sun has gone down outdoor picture. And it is very obvious that someone is having a good time, because the one individual has their leg way up in the air. I don't think they have any clothing on.
One
and
leg
so
up
there's
in
this
there.
cast. Yeah, there's this cast of light that's coming. I'm guessing from like patio lighting something. And the other person is face down, like between them. And yeah, I was just like, wow, like that is such an evocative picture.
We're taint asshole-esque.
So there's that one, and then I have a second one, which is the FCF on the BGB. So for those that don't recognize, it stands for Fat Cock Friday on the Big Gay Boat. So this is Cub Scout XL. He was on a cruise of some kind, and he was kind enough to put on a hat and a cock ring and
Nothing else.
take a so yes. Yes. And for Damon, he chose
Mhm.
Dad Powers Restored. So this is Bulking Canuck. And it says, anyway, full dad powers have been restored. He is a redhead with a beard. He took a selfie. I'm guessing he has been working out. Or it's the reference to the haircut. I'm not quite sure which. He has very perky nipples. Wow.
Very dad
Um,
bodish, maybe?
Yes. Well, that and he is fuzzy. So
Yes.
he's got that going for him.
It's
In
very
this case.
nice.
And then the other picture from Blue Sky that he posted says, 80s babies, where y'all at? Oh, I get it. It's a whole meme thing. Well, kind of, I don't know what you call these things. Trend that people do. So, anyways, if you were born in the 80s, you take 4 pictures of yourself and you post them. So I think he was focusing on specifically Phoenix Vibes from 1987 posted an interesting collection. One of them's in the bottom of a shower stall. It's a good perspective from up above, kind of a
Mhm.
bird's eye view.
Like straight from the
And
shower head.
yeah, and there's a really nice one of him on a nude beach apparently, as well as one from down below. He's giving you options, and even a singlet.
Which leaves nothing to the imagination.
Well, hey, that's why people like them.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Moving on to the link so that we can quickly get this over just in case I do need to take shelter. I've been through so many tornado watches in Rochester where nothing happened. That's not even funny. In any case, I'm going to recommend Monster Hunter Wilds. Very, very pretty game. Might need something at least within the past few years for a computer. I would download on Steam, download the benchmark, run that. If it at least says playable and you don't mind not having the highest of high resolution graphics, it's still pretty. And it ran actually pretty well on my computer, which I think I built 5 years ago. How long was it? 20 or maybe 3, 4, 5 years? I don't remember. But I did update my graphics card, but I think this is more of a CPU intensive game. It's also available on like PlayStation, I think Xbox, but that's so main consoles. Really, really enjoyed the game. I mean, I enjoyed World when I dipped into that. Rise, I'm having mixed feelings on. And it's on my Switch, so if I do need to take shelter, I can just take my Switch into the bathroom. I'll be fine.
Fair.
Gary?
Of course I had to get this plug in there. If you have Disney Plus, I highly recommend you go watch Daredevil Born Again. If you watch Daredevil when it was on Netflix, the original 3-season series, this season picks up from where that left off for the most part. There is a time jump. Obviously, years have gone by. Charlie Cox is back as Daredevil. Vincent D'Onofrio is back as Wilson Fisk, aka Kingpin. It's really good. It's got its opinions because they went a certain direction and they stopped production. There were the strikes. They regrouped. They rejiggered it. They redid some stuff, and they shot new stuff. And so, if you're one of those people that really pays attention, you can kind of figure out where stuff might have not been original and whatever. But it's good. And man, if you're into some gruesome stuff, it's not gross inappropriate, but I'm not a horror kind of gory kind of person, but there's a couple moments where there's some bodily harm that, the Foleys did a good job of the sound effects. I didn't need that.
Well, I mean,
That's
even
all
the
I'm
first,
saying.
even the first series was very brutal.
Yeah. Well, this continues on that theme. So, yeah. Yes, it
Good
is.
for Disney for
So-
allowing that to happen.
Well, I will say this, like when they introduced the rated R segment of Disney Plus and you have to have a pin because it's adult content and they don't want the kids to get access to it. I think that was a really smart move on their part. And so now, people can enjoy what they want to enjoy.
Especially considering they ended up getting Fox, and you know what Fox had? Already a rated R Marvel movie.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
I'm proud of Disney for taking the steps and understanding that some of the properties they have are more than PG or PG-13. So
Yeah. No, it's worked out.
mhm.
So I suggest people check it out.
Good on them. In any case, it is that time to say goodbye. Plenty of ways to contact us. Let us know what you think of what are you playing? What video game you playing? What you watching? Tell us. Pop over to our website, cubsoutloud.com. Shoot us an email at cubsoutloud@gmail.com. Leave us a voicemail, sexy or otherwise, at 361-265-8255. That's 361-COL Talk. You can follow us on Blue Sky, Facebook, Tumblr, and YouTube at Cubs Out Loud, the appropriate place of the URL. You can join our Telegram chat at bit.ly/telegram-col. Join the entourage. You can pop into our Google Calendar and find out when we're planning on recording these shows, when we know. You can also get various accoutrements over on Zazzle, zazzle.com/cubsoutloud. Some of the designs were designed by Smashy. You can find more of his work at tpublic at tpublic.com/user/SmashyTheBear. You can also become a patron at patreon.com/cubsoutloud and send us a donation at paypal.me/cubsoutloud. Please rate us, review us, like us, subscribe, comment, everything, everywhere, on all the podcasting platforms, right here on YouTube. You can find me anywhere on the internet as Boxset, Box, Puppy Box, Cub Box, something or other. You can find Damon at TheaterCub79 on the various sites, and Pup Under 79 on Blue Sky, or DMA Gamer 79 for all the safe for work stuff. Gary?
If you would like to get in touch with me, you can pretty much find me anywhere online as GearBear73. On Blue Sky, the not safe for work is GearBear73XXX.
And with that, take it out, everybody.
Have a good one, y'all.